it's Bree with Califia Candle Company. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about a new sealer that I'm really excited about because I absolutely love this company. Now, if you've been watching my channel since the beginning, you might remember in some of my earlier videos, I was mentioning how difficult it was to find a sealer that I felt safe using for my concrete candle jars. When I first started making the jars, there honestly was not a whole lot of information out there about sealers, let alone safe ones to use. A lot of the ones that people were recommending seemed safe, but in reality, they could be releasing invisible fumes while the candle is burning. So it took a lot of trial and error to finally land on a sealer, and this is the one that I have been using for the last 2 years now. This is the Preserver / Sealer from Earth Safe Finishes. It has no VOCs, it's non-toxic, no heavy metals, 100% safe to use for concrete candle jars. Now, the one complaint that people have about this sealer is the time that it takes to apply it, because you actually have to brush it on with a little sponge brush and then wait for it to dry and then come back and do another coat. So it does take some time. I personally don't really mind that. I kind of find it to be my downtime during the day. So I'll put on a Netflix show or a YouTube video or something and apply the sealer. But it does take a little bit of time to do. So Nancy from Earth Safe was listening and came out with something called Quick Dip. So this is their new sealer that is just, like it says, a quick dip. So you can dip your jar in there quickly, at least one time. She told me that she recommends doing it twice just to ensure better protection. But it's really easy and simple. So I will go over the application process with you guys and pouring a candle in it and everything in this video. I actually spoke with Nancy on the phone last week for probably about 30 minutes. She is the nicest lady, so nice. And she gave me a lot of helpful tips for quick dips. So I thought I would pass those along to you guys. And I did want to touch on the Eco Advanced Sealer. I've had a few comments on that video recently. I did post an update in the description box for you guys, but I ultimately did not switch over to that sealer because I had multiple people reach out to me after I posted that video saying that they experienced seepage with their candles several weeks or months after pouring them. So that made me a little bit weary and I held off from switching to that. You might be thinking that this product seems similar to that one, and it is as far as the application process, but the product itself is not anything like Eco Advanced. This one is water-based and the Eco is siloxane-based. So this one will definitely, in my opinion, form a better seal for the wax and fragrance oil. So yeah, just wanted to touch base on that because I have still been getting a few comments trickling in on that video, and that is the update on that. So again, this product has no VOCs, it is non-toxic, everything that we want to see in a sealer. I actually have some here in this Tupperware container that I used the other day. This was one tip that Nancy shared with me, to not pour the leftover solution back into the original container, because once you have dipped a jar in there, you've actually contaminated it. So pouring that back into the original container can potentially contaminate the rest of the contents in there. So I've just been storing mine in this Tupperware container, and that has been working out great. So now I'm going to start submerging my jar into the Quick Dip, really just rolling it around in there, making sure every surface of that jar has been coated. She recommends doing this for about 20 to 30 seconds. And you may notice I'm not wearing gloves while doing this. This was actually news to me. Nancy shared that you do not need to wear gloves with any of her products because they are that non-toxic. So I thought that was awesome. I personally don't like wearing gloves. I don't like the way they make my hands feel. So I loved to hear that. Of course, if you want to wear gloves, you absolutely can, but just wanted to share that. So after the 20 to 30 seconds, I'm just going to carefully pick up the jar and let the excess drip off. Don't wipe it. I know it is instinct to wipe all of that excess solution off, but Nancy actually advised to not wipe it, all of that solution is going to absorb into your jar, and that is what forms the seal. So we're just going to let those drips fall off, and then after most of them have fallen off, I will just carefully run my finger around the rim of the jar to catch the rest of them and place it upside down on this baking rack. So this is actually a time lapse of the solution absorbing into the jar. After about 10 minutes or so of it hanging out on the rack, I just came back and kind of dabbed off any obvious drips that I saw with a towel. And then after the bottom was dry enough to touch, I just kind of carefully picked it up and dabbed any drips that might be on the rim of the jar. And it honestly was dry in about 20 to 30 minutes, I would say. So this is how it turned out when it was all dry. As you can see, there is a slight sheen, but I wouldn't say it feels tacky or sticky. And Nancy does recommend doing 2 dips, so I went ahead and repeated the process again off camera. In case anybody was wondering, I did want to show that I had no issues with my warning labels or the little rubber feet that I use adhering to the jar. I did wait a full 48 hours before pouring a candle in this jar just to make sure that the sealer has completely dried. Here is what it looked like after the candle was starting to set. And then the finished candle, I think it turned out absolutely beautiful. I'm not used to seeing the sheen on the outside of the jar because I normally only seal the inside, but I am definitely not opposed to it. I think it turned out beautiful. Well, that is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it helpful. Before you go, I do want to share that Nancy so kindly provided a discount code for the Quick Dip for the month of July. So if you are interested in trying this out, now is a great time to do so. I will leave the discount code linked down below in the description box. And thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next video.